What is up, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. Today we are checking out the LPD, or Lawrence Petros Designs 55. Now, according to Lawrence, this pedal was designed to kind of capture those 50s era like Tweed Bassman and deluxe amplifiers, and I think it sounds really good. Let's get right into the pedal itself and what's happening with it. Top controls, you've got a level control, that's obvious. You have a tone control, we'll get into how that sounds in the demo, and you also have a drive control. We'll get into how that sounds in the demo. That's a very kind of basic tone stack that we all know. Now there's two switches on this pedal. The switch on the left is called the voice switch. So in the down position, that would be considered kind of more of like a, I'm making the air quote, but like a stock setting. If you put that switch into the upward position, it's going to actually add more low end, or basically let more low end into the actual tone circuit. We'll get into how that sounds in the demo. On the other side of the pedal is the headroom switch. In the down position, that would be considered more of kind of a stock setting. In the up position, it's creating kind of more headroom. So, just think of, the power section of those old amps and how it would respond. That's really what it's based on, is how the power section would clip, or how it would clip differently or overdrive differently. That's what that switch applies to, and we'll get into how that sounds in the demo. And of course you have your bypass switch. It's 9 to 18 volt DC. In this case I'm just running it at standard 9 volt. So without further ado, let's check out the LPD 55. Alrighty, let's check this thing out. Here's just the guitar into the amp. Got the amp dialed really clean. Gonna have the pedal do all the work. Here is the 55. Okay, so just kind of messing around, turn the gain up and down, changing positions on the guitar from, back humbucker to neck position. Okay, so this, it feels like Tweed series amps for sure, like American voiced Tweed. It's not overly compressed by any means, but it does have that kind of like, sag that you would get from a really pushed, like Tweed Bassman or maybe deluxe. Okay, so let's let's look at just the drive range. So I've got the drive all the way up right now. I'll go to noon. pedal off. Back on. So drive way down. So to me, this pedal is definitely in that kind of tweed gain range, maybe just a little bit more. But while we're on the drive side, I shouldn't be calling it gain because it's labeled drive. I'm going to put let's set the drive about right here. And let's take a look at this headroom switch. So the headroom switch becomes a bit more apparent. In other words, there's more headroom. It becomes a bit more apparent after like noon and beyond on the drive setting. So check it out. Sorry, tuning. So you can hear right away what's happening with the higher headroom setting in that up position. There's more kind of top end harmonic stuff. It feels like there's more gain there, or I should say overdrive. Now if I turn the drive down, way less apparent, but once you get into around, like I said, that noon setting, so it just depends on what you dig. Like I personally, I like the drive all the way up without the headroom setting in that up position. That just feels and sounds really natural, but at the same time, it's really to each his own, and you know, how are you using it? What amp? What guitar? What, you know, what's the sound that you're going after? It's like I think that's a very useful setting. Okay, without changing anything, let's look at this voice setting. Basically what the voice setting is doing is it's adding more low end into the tone circuit. So in the down position, it sounds like that. In the up position, you can hear it immediately added more kind of low end. And I would think that would be very useful in a couple different ways. If you're, you know, playing by yourself through an amp that's maybe, you know, you're running at really low volumes, it'll be definitely more gratifying to throw that switch up because you'll get more low end, right? On the other hand, in this position, it's going to sit in a track better. You're going to cut through a mix better. But it's kind of the same thing. It's like you have the option of having more low end. If you feel like, wow, I just wish, you know, it just sounded bigger. It's like, well, that switch will take care of that. And then, of course, the tone, I'll just turn it all the way off with the voice switch down. Everything's in the down position right now. It's tone off. Here's tone at noon. Here's the tone all the way up. So once again, it depends on what amp you're using, how you play, what guitar you're using. I found that I liked the tone about right here. That way, you know, if I turn the gain up, or I should say drive, it still worked if I want to add more low end. Sounds big if I want to add more headroom, or even both. But let's say we ended up here. Could turn the tone down a little bit. And, you know, arrive at whatever sound you're wanting to achieve. So that is the Lawrence Petros Design 55. If you've got any further questions, certainly go to his website and check things out. And as always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you next time.